Pacers NBA Finals Practice Media Day number 7 out of 7, the final one. They're preparing right now for Game 7 of the NBA Finals. You'll get to hear from Pacers players and Thunder players via interviews right now on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy weekend, happy Saturday, Sunday, whenever you're tuning in, and welcome in to another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, the final practice day ahead of the NBA Finals. We're in the Paycom Center. I'm on the lovely interview stage where we just heard from many a Pacer player about their prep for Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Say it again. The Pacers are playing in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the first one in nearly a decade, as they'll try to win their franchise's first championship in a best-of-one tomorrow. We got to talk to everyone, Thunder players, Pacers players. Pascal Siakam talked about his eye thing that happened pre-game last game. It was an interesting day here because on one hand, there were some key updates. On the other hand, a lot of the basketball questions have been asked or aren't important in this setting anymore. Right now, a lot of this is about motion, emotion, mental state, prep, fighting off what you don't want your emotional state to be, right? And you'll hear a lot about that today, even in questions, a lot of them actually from me, because that is what I'm the most curious about, right? If I'm going to talk about players being in that kind of setting where throw away the past, it doesn't matter. Throw away the past games, it doesn't matter. It's a best of one on the biggest stage. You never know who's going to rise, who's going to fall. The margins of these games have been so slim. What's it going to be like for this one? And how do the players feel now? Do they feel loose now? They're coming off a win in the Pacers case and a loss in the Thunder's case. Or do they feel tight? How are they fending off emotions of thoughts about what could be if they win or lose the game? All sorts of stuff like that is what I am endlessly curious and fascinated about right now with the Pacers headed in to the setting. And you got a variety of answers, but most of them all kind of said the same thing, and that they're doing a good job of, keeping their emotions as even keeled as they possibly can. I think that's a good way to put it. But I also like the way that Aaron Wiggins, who you'll hear, the Thunder forward, talk about it more as like anticipation more than anything, right? It's not nerves. It's not anxiety. It's just a lot of anticipation about a game. And he's been really steely this whole series. He said he's been nervous since like his first game ever in the NBA. And that's kind of what these players are fighting through, is that this is a new state of affairs, right? Everybody on both of these teams has played in, not everybody, most players on both of these teams have played in a Game 7, whether that was this year for OKC against Denver, last year for the Pacers against the Knicks, right? A lot of these all these players have played in a finals right now, right? 6 games of it. But the combination of NBA Finals plus Game 7 is just something totally different and totally new from an emotional standpoint. And you do your best to say, yep, if I leave it all out there, you'll hear Chet Holmgren talk about this, right? When you get fatigued, you got to fight through it because of the setting. You got to leave it all out there because you never know what the result's going to be, and you never know how you're going to look back and remember what the skin is. But I really enjoyed the kind of all over the map answers of players kind of try to describe and work through what their current emotional state is, because it's different, right? And TJ McConnell, I thought, was the most honest in saying, yes, your thoughts kind of do wander to the what could be. It's their job as players to fight those thoughts off, keep everything as on task and on target as they can be, and make them unwanted thoughts that go away because they got to stay focused. Right now, they're practicing. They're on the court. We're not allowed to watch. And they were doing that for the last time this season. After that, it's all game, right? They got to be as focused as possible about their task, about their film, about everything that they need to do to get an NBA Finals Game 7 win and a championship, both teams. And so I think as they kind of work through the day, you'll hear more about how they feel later. But as they work through the day, they'll really kind of settle into whatever emotional state they're going to be in tomorrow, because there's nothing left to do. It will just be the finals left at that stage. We also got to hear from Tyrese Haliburton, who talked about his injury status and did admit it was a good thing for a rest perspective that they were able to not have him play in the fourth quarter. He's still doing around the clock treatment. Calf is still sore, but we got to see the Pacers practicing. He was out there moving and grooving a little bit shoot, getting shots up. I haven't saw Jarris Walker shoot. I don't think he's going to play, but that is happening. Someone else is setting up for a TV hit. So that's why the lighting is getting better and why I need to do an advertisement and get out of here so you guys can hear these interviews. No more updates. Why don't you hear from Thunder and Pacers players here on Locked On Pacers? Before we do that, though, let me tell you guys about CarGurus. Shopping for a car should be exciting, not exhausting, but between the confusing prices, hidden fees, it can all feel overwhelming. That's why I love CarGurus. They help you cut through the noise and show you the best deals with full confidence. With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more new and used cars than any other online marketplace in the U.S. They verify dealers, provide real price analysis, and give you the tools and data you need to make the right choice without second-guessing yourself. So if you need a deal you can trust, CarGurus is the place to do it. You can compare vehicles side by side, get price drop alerts so you know exactly when the right budgeted car is available, and they have in-depth vehicle details. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. So buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus.com. At CarGurus, go to CarGurus.com. Make sure your next big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com. Back here on Locked On Pacers, thanks for making me your first listen today on this weekend. Your second listen's got to be Locked On Thunder as we approach NBA Finals Game 7 now. Let's hear from Pacers and Thunder players ahead of NBA Finals Game 7.
Gary Trammell tells the world, you're playing for a coach that's won over 1,000 games, won a ton of playoff games, won an NBA championship. What has his experience done for you guys, especially in these finals?
Yeah, he's been definitely a calming presence. Again, his communication and like you said, he has the experience. He does a good job of preparing us for games. Not only just in terms of game plan, but mentally and he's definitely one of those coaches that again talking to him and he can just give you a good perspective on certain things and maybe make you look at things a little differently than I look at or whatever. But I think he's been so great with us in that, just preparing us for games and also putting us in the mindset ready to just go out there and be ourselves.
Dustin, you're on the left.
Hey Pascal, I know you reacted to this on social media already, but what the picture of you from the huddle?
Dustin, you gonna be the one asking that?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
What was your thoughts of what happened and what did you?
Yeah, well, I didn't see it until they showed me in the locker room. I haven't been on social media, so I don't really know. My team has shown me. So we're praying and. I try to close my eyes. I have this problem where I can't really close my eyes. Sometimes I be thinking that I'm closing my eyes, but they're not really closed. And even just having conversations, sometimes I would look up and it's it feels like I'm thinking and my eyes just go up. But yeah, it's definitely just so natural. Usually I try to do this so I can make sure I close my eyes. But that time I didn't, and we got caught on camera. But I'm glad people are enjoying it and having fun with it or whatever. But yeah, it's just literally I was praying and I was trying to close my eyes and I'm thinking in my head my eyes are closed, but clearly they weren't closed. So that's just all it is really. I got to again. My agent told me one time doing the national anthem that he saw that and I was like, oh man, I gotta make sure I close my eyes, because those are the moments where I usually pray. So it's when I do that, I'm thinking I'm closing my eyes, but I'm not. So yeah, I gotta do better. I gotta start moving. I'll put my head down, y'all can look at me no more. And the camera, the NBA with all these cameras too, it's too much, man. Get the cameras away from us.
How blessed is it to play here in such a sport? How can you use that to your advantage in a must-win situation for both?
Yeah, it's probably a reward for playing through the regular season how we did. Having the depth and the team that we do to win that many games, to be able to have home court. I'm excited to play here. No place I'd rather play for a do-or-die game than here.
Now, as we talk about the pressure on players in Game 7, is there any pressure on Mark tomorrow night? The coach's best, make the right adjustments, right rotations, those things?
Yeah, but that's a small percentage of the game. I think it's largely decided by the players. Obviously, a good game plan and adjustments are necessary, but I'd say a large majority of that is the players playing the game.
What are you learning about the Pacers now, having played them in 6 games in the series?
Kind of everything we looked at when we came in. They're a really good team. They ran to the East how they did, not by luck. They play their brand of basketball. They have talented players and they play together, and they have a really strong belief in themselves. And that's why this series is 3-3. That's why they're in the NBA Finals and they're going to play more.
They made that tweak to reduce pressure, which in turn tweaked things a little bit. What stood out to you about that defense that kept you guys kind of out of the paint and getting downhill as much as you guys do usually?
Yeah, switch up from how they've been playing the first couple games. More in line with how Denver kind of played us and how Minnesota played us coming in. And I just think we just didn't do a good enough job adjusting to that and trusting the way that we've played previously live in the course of the game. But I think to that point, we've seen every attack defensively this year, whether it be for Shea, Dub, the whole team. People play aggressive, people play soft, they play zone, they trap, they sit back and plug. So really, we're prepared for whatever it is. It's just about going out there and recognizing the right one and then taking advantage of it.
You've played in finals before and you've played in Game 7s before, but not both like tomorrow. Does it feel any different for you going into it? How do you try to keep yourself even-keeled for a moment like that?
Yeah, I think, you try to make it as binary as possible. Like, you're either going to win or lose. That's literally what is going to happen. The season's going to be over, you're going to be champion, or you're going to lose, and you're going to start square one. So you might as well go out there and put your best foot forward and compete your ass off and play hard for your teammates to try and win.
Do you have a favorite Game 7 memory? It could be yours or finals.
Yeah, I'd say ours. I mean, us against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. That was an incredible atmosphere and a moment that I love playing.
How normal do you feel right now going into a Game 7 of the finals? Does it feel normal at all? Have you been able to keep away any unwanted emotions?
No, it feels good. It feels as normal as normal could be. I mean, I'm excited about this opportunity. I know it's going to be a big environment and it's going to be a lot of emotions, but I think we're all just ready to hoop and just enjoy the hoops.
Since you mentioned last year's Game 7, how much does that experience help going into this? I mean, how important is it to, even if it's not in the finals, how much important is it to experience the Game 7 just to know what that means?
No, I definitely with some rising emotions and just feelings towards a Game 7 like last year, and I think it does. Experience always helps, in these situations.
Expect about Game 7, Tyrese said it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. We're in Oklahoma, we're great fans. It's going to be series of the games. Just playing our game and being ourselves.
Your advice to any kid who's dreaming to be one day in this seat, what do they need to do? How did you make it all possible?
Just keep working. Be a good person. Stick to what you know, and just keep working and believe in yourself.
How tough is to manage all the emotions you had after Thursday? To start to be focused on Game 7, but try to release all the emotions that you had.
Yeah, it was good that we won, but ultimately that game doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So we got one more, and we're not too worried about last game or what else happened in the series. So we're just focused on this one game.
Did you do anything different or special during these 2 days, or just the same routine that others?
Same routine.
You played in Game 7s before. You've played in 6 finals games now, but this is the combination of the two. It's the biggest stage possible. Yeah. Does it feel any different to you? How are you trying to keep yourself even keeled ahead of that moment?
I feel like I don't let moments get too big or too small, so just being where my feet are and approaching every game the same way that I do. And
Where'd that mentality come from? Have you always had it, or is that something you've had to learn over the years?
I mean, it's just so enjoyable playing in the NBA playoffs, so it's hard to worry about anything or feel anxious about anything. I mean, all these guys have worked their whole lives to be in a position like this, so just enjoying it and taking it as it comes.
How you're living this childhood dream, NBA finals all the way to the end, and the emotions that go with.
Yeah, the finals, just like any playoff series that we've been through so far, there's a lot of ups and downs. It's the end of the world when you lose, and it's like the greatest moment of your life when you win every time. But you kind of have to take the emotions out of it, even though it's everything you dreamed of, and you just have to try and do what you can to continue to prepare how you prepared all year to put yourself in the best chance to win each game.
And now getting to Game 7, it's an opportunity that not every player that's in the finals gets. How much even more special does it make it?
It's all special. Every game all the way through. When you're in the moment of it, it's hard to kind of grasp it, but thinking all the way back to the first game we played this year and how long ago that was, and now we're going to play the last game of the season tomorrow. It's crazy to think about, but we kind of have to put all our focus on just preparing and being our best tomorrow.
And what do you expect from this matchup? I heard Tyrese say it's not going to be a pretty game to watch.
I expect Indiana to bring their best. I expect us to bring our best, and we're gonna see what happens when we both do that.
You talked about it being special. Mental demands of this series to kind of change your approach to this upcoming game.
I wouldn't say it changes the approach so much as just you have to put yourself in the mental space to kind of fight that feeling that you get when you get fatigued and your body's telling you you're tired, this and that, and you just kind of have to push through all that. Just like you try to do all year long, but there's been a lot of games to get to this point, long playoff run, so you just kind of have to put all that to the back of your mind and focus on just making a play.
Now to be in a Game 7, can you take a step back and just look at this journey for us?
I don't have enough time. I'm keeping it a stack with you, bro. It's been 10 years of experience, but it's all for a moment like such. So I just everything I've been through, everything it's all worth it. So be able to play 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Myles, how much have you leaned on Rick, just knowing that he has won an NBA title?
You have to. Actually, I watched a documentary. It's on YouTube of their championship run in 2011. Obviously, I grew up watching that, but you just don't know what really goes into, building a championship team, what goes into the mentality, and just how grueling the process is. So, it's you have to lean on his experience, and yeah, man, it's the most fun time of the year.
Oh, you haven't played 6 games here, obviously. Do you expect any kind of early game jitters for both teams coming out tomorrow, knowing the weight of the game?
No, it just depends. I think that guys, you dream of these moments and whatnot, but guys like ourselves, we've been in Game 7s before, so a Game 7 before, so the stakes weren't quite as high, but you have to just lean on that do or die mentality. And honestly, the past 3 games for us have been Game 7s, so I think that and now it's just all for the marbles.
Coach Mark, after Game 6, said a lot of it was offensively for you guys in terms of tangible takeaways, things to improve on going into Game 7. What offensively do you feel like you guys would want to improve on there?
We just got to do a better job, just kind of spacing and being available for each other, making the game easy for each other so that as a team we can get better looks and kind of better opportunities to score the ball. It was just a little bit kind of congested in our half-court offense, and that's when everybody just kind of be better in terms of availability and creating opportunities for us to make the game easy.
How do you compartmentalize the fact that this is the last game of the season, the last possible game of the season, but you guys have that even kill mentality of 0-0, but also you can win a championship on the other end, control that anxiousness?
Yeah, I think our biggest focus is to first get prepared and focused for the game. You got to go out there and take care of business before you can think about, obviously, anything after, the game. So, obviously, we plan for high stakes, but to do that, you've got to kind of take care of the game first. So, we got to just make sure we're focused on the game from the jump, put ourselves in position to win, and then do what comes with whatever, the result of the game is. So.
Are the nerves different from going into this game than going into Game 1?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had nerves in a long time. So my nerves, I think, are pretty settled, but obviously high stakes game. So the anticipation, the excitement behind it exists. But as a team, collectively, I think we're in a good spot mentally, and we understand that we got to do whatever it takes to go out there and win a game.
TJ, just how much of a dream is it though to be in a Game 7 on this stage?
It's something I think all of us dream about as kids, obviously, and
I think for me, just not getting ahead of myself and for our team not getting ahead of ourselves, just like I said, staying in the moment and preparing for the moment tomorrow.
Can you take anything from that Game 7 win at New York 1 year ago? Can that experience help you at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think experiences can obviously help, but we're a different team. We're playing against a different team, so we kind of just can't really pay attention to that type of stuff, and like I said, just prepare for tomorrow.
TJ, we caught you walking out with Thomas Bryant. You guys were praying, I think, looking at how important has faith been for you throughout this whole time?
It's something that I've leaned on very heavily. Something that means a lot to me and my family, and wouldn't be here without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So it's something that I lean on a daily basis.
Have you seen Rick, Jimmy, all those coaches take their game to another level throughout this, no matter what ways? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a great staff in general, who do a great job of fixing things that we need to fix, but also empowering us to do what we do well. And it's been amazing to see just how the growth of not only our players but our staff. I can't say enough good things about them.
You talked about staying in the moment in a moment like this, but like it's NBA Finals Game 7, it's as big as it gets. How intentional do you catch yourself having to be about that if your mind wanders thinking about what could be or could not be?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if someone says that their mind doesn't wander, I think they're lying, obviously. It's about reeling yourself back in and getting yourself back to the preparation and all the stuff we're trying to do to try to go out and win. Obviously, your mind's going to wander. You're human. But just bringing yourself back in and saying, the moment, stay in the moment right now and worry about the future when it's there.
What did that moment with your dad after Game 6 mean to you?
I wouldn't be here without my dad, so it was a special moment. Cool to see him, kind of be out there and be a proud dad. He wasn't truthful in what he was saying, but that's my dad, so I love him, and I'm just happy that he gets to experience this.
TJ, everybody talks about how unpredictable Game 7s can be. You gotta forget about statistics, everything that happened prior to that. How much do you believe that? Is that true, or you gotta take some from what happened?
A little bit of both. I mean, you never know what can happen. It's one game. You never know who can get hot or some happens. But it's a big game. It's a big challenge, and then we know that we got to give it our all, and then we'll go out there and compete and then do our best to win the game.
Are the nerves different going into Game 7 and Game 1?
I mean, it's a mix of nerve. Like I said, it's a Game 7. It's a big challenge. You know that if you win, you'll be happy for a long time. If you lose, you'll be mad for a long time. So we gotta go out there. We gotta block all the distractions and just go out there and play our best and give us our best chance.
It's like compartmentalize the fact that you guys have that even kill 0-0 mentality, but at the end of the day, you could win a championship, and that consciousness of winning a championship means a lot.
Yeah, like I said, we gotta, before that feeling, we gotta take care of one game, and then we just gotta face that game first, and then give it our best, give it our all, and then after that, we'll be happy with the result.
What will it take tomorrow to get this last win?
Yeah.
And how do you expect this matchup in the last game to be? How is it going to be? Is it going to be not pretty game?
All right. It's going to be two great teams playing really hard to get a win. Like I said, it's been a while since both teams got a championship. So for us to play against each other in the Game 7, it's going to be good basketball.
How helpful was it to already have like an elimination game for you guys? Now that you're both here, it's win all, take all, but you guys already have an elimination game win under your belt.
Yeah, last game, we didn't want them celebrating on our court, so we understood the assignment. We understood we had to come in here, be dogs, and get that job done. And now it's on to Game 7. We got to do the same thing we did in Game 6 and get the job done.
Favorite Game 7 memory?
Do I have a favorite? 2016, that was Kyrie's step back, right?
Yeah.
On the wing, yeah, that was probably the coldest one for
I thought
sure.
for sure you'd say silencing New York fans.
Knicks last year was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I thought you were talking about the finals. Is it any game 7? Yeah, probably New York last year there. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Obi is sitting here 3 games apiece. The point differential total is just 7. It's been ultra competitive. What kind of respect do you have for them and this series, knowing that so many people are watching? This is going to go down as one of the best series ever.
Yeah, I mean, they're a great team. We're a great team. It's 2 young teams. Like, I feel like we're kind of showing the world it's like different basketball now. It's about hey TJ. It's about 2 teams just going out there playing extremely hard, and everybody, including the guys on the bench, coming in here and making an impact. So, yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed all that. The last interviews. I've been lucky enough to be here at parties and be able to put these straight up into the podcast feed. Probably can't do that again starting very soon. So I hope these were fun and enjoyable. And the next podcast you're here will be with a guest previewing Game 7. And then it's time for the big one tomorrow night. Thank you guys so much for listening to this and all this. See ya tomorrow.